Hi there folks, it's Lego Lover 117 coming back at you with yet another video, and today's video is actually a very different one. If you guys don't already know, I am a huge collector of these little things called Funko Pops. These are 3 3/4 inch little vinyl figures made by Funko, which is a toy company. I have quite a lot of these little figures, over 50 of them, and I actually said on my Twitter a few months ago that when I got over 50, I would do a complete Funko Pop collection video. And well, I'm now over 50 pops, so this video is long overdue pretty much. So let's not waste any more time, let's go ahead and jump right into my complete Funko Pop collection video. Roll the intro. Alright folks, so here we are. This is going to be the setup for the 2017 edition of my Funko Pop collection. So get used to it. We're on my desk right now and this won't be changing. This is where we'll be showcasing every single Funko Pop in my collection. So to start off here, this is the first Funko Pop I ever purchased in my entire life. This is the Iron Man Mark 43 from Avengers Age of Ultron. I have an interesting story about how I got into Funko Pop collecting, and I'll go ahead and tell it here. It was around May of 2015, and little young Lego lover who was a wee young lad back then and had just found out that FYE is pretty much the closest thing to heaven on earth. So, yeah, a little young Lego lover walked into FYE and was looking for some cheap prices on some movies. I believe I picked up Mission Impossible 2 and 3 that day. Go ahead and spin Iron Man around here so you're not getting bored by just me talking. There's the back of him. So yeah, I went into FYE that day and I saw these things and they were called Funko Pops. And actually around that time Mr. MPS, one of my good friends here on YouTube, had just picked up the Ultron Funko Pop and had just showed it off in his review of Avengers Age of Ultron, and I thought to myself, hey, that looks kind of cool. I like, you know, bobbleheads. Those are pretty awesome. You know, this one's a bobblehead because it's Marvel. So I looked at FYE's vast assortment of Funko Pops, and I found this Iron Man Mark 43, and I was like, holy crap, that's beautiful. I have to have it. And that's when I got bit by the Funko bug, I guess you could say. I really can say this is probably one of my favorite Pops ever made, just because of the fact that, you know, it looks like he's blasting off. I really like that feature. And he's also, you know, the oldest Funko in my collection. So he was number 1, so now we're going to move on to number 2. And I was just talking about Ultron earlier in number 1, but number 2 is actually Ultron himself. Yes, I was inspired to buy this by my buddy, Mr. MPS, who I talked about in number 1 with Iron Man Mark 43, and I actually did not buy Ultron at FYE. At the mall complex where one of my local FYEs is located, there is a GameStop, which actually closed back in 2016, which was actually kind of sad, but I bought this Ultron from that GameStop. I think he was on sale for like $7, I think, so I was like, alright, I'll go ahead and buy him, and yeah, like I said with Iron Man Mark 43, that's really where I got bit by the Funko bug, because I'm a very big proprietor of, once you buy one of these, you can never stop. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, I really like Ultron. Loved Age of Ultron, if I didn't already mention that earlier, and I'm happy to have one of the best villains from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in my Funko Pop collection. So moving on to Pop number 3, this is the only 6-inch Pop that is in my collection. It's Thanos, the main villain of Avengers Infinity War, which at the time of its recording, the trailer dropped at Comic-Con, and I may or may not have watched the leaked version, and holy crap, that movie looks amazing, super hyped for it. But this Thanos was put out under the Guardians of the Galaxy line, if you can see that right there, because he makes a little bit of a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy, when really he just kind of sits in his chair the whole time and talks to Ronan. He's like, your politics bore me. Demeanor is that of a pouty child. This Thanos was gifted to me by a friend of mine for my birthday back in 2015, and this thing is just beautiful. Thanos isn't really one of my favorite characters, and usually I only buy Pops of like my favorite characters or ones that I think look really cool. and I thought Thanos looked really cool, so I was like, all right, I guess I'll ask for this for my birthday, and this friend obviously came through for me. And this thing is absolutely beautiful. The detail on it is amazing. I love the gold on his armor there and his big old smile. Most pops actually do not have mouths, so this is actually a rare one that's got a mouth on it, which is pretty freaking amazing. And I just love this thing. And my only 6-inch, I haven't seen a 6-inch that I liked more than this, so I haven't seen a reason to buy another 6-inch. But I'm very content with just having Thanos as my only 6-inch in my collection. Number 4 in my collection is Wolverine. This is the original comic book version of Wolverine. And obviously you guys already know Wolverine, one of my favorite characters in Marvel history. He's actually in the top 3 of my favorite Marvel characters, along with Iron Man and Punisher. They sort of alternate depending on how I'm feeling that day, pretty much. And yeah, I bought Wolverine when I went on a trip to Gatlinburg. I believe this was the first trip to Gatlinburg my youth group ever took, or maybe it was the second. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was the second that we ever took, because the first one I didn't buy anything except a little magnet. So yeah, I was very surprised to actually find the classic version of Wolverine, because I think this one's not really that common anymore. You can't really find them that well anymore, except on places like Amazon and stuff. But yeah, that's Wolverine. He's very simplistic in terms of his detail, but I still love him all the same. I wish that Funko would put out a Logan branded Wolverine figure where he's all old and gray, but sadly Fox won't let him do that. However, a man can dream, I suppose, but right now I am happy with just having this version of Wolverine. So numbers 4 and 5 I'm actually going to do together in this one little segment, because I got them both in the same Christmas 2015, and they're from the same series, which is Arrow, the television series. And you can see in front of you Deathstroke and the Arrow. So we'll take a look at the Arrow first, because he was the first one I received. I pretty much got into Arrow, the TV series, right around the time was, I think, season 4 was first airing in 2015, and I was catching up on season 3 and such that summer, so I wasn't able to see much of season 4, but I pretty much fell in love with the TV show Arrow. I think it's one of the best superhero TV shows on the air right now. Season 3 was kind of I didn't really enjoy it that much. Season 4 was a major improvement, and season 5 this past year was absolutely amazing. I think season 2 is my absolute favorite of the Arrow TV series, and that's where this version of Arrow was the most prominent, and Deathstroke was the main villain in season 2, and I freaking love Deathstroke. I think it was mainly due to the fact that Manu Bennett gave such an excellent performance as this character. Deathstroke is the ultimate badass villain that basically broke Arrow. He took Arrow to his deepest, darkest place and was basically going to have Arrow kill himself by turning himself over to Deathstroke, because Deathstroke had basically ruined his life. And it was just, it's a fantastic season. Some of the best television I've ever seen in my life, guys. Seriously, check out Arrow Season 2 if you can at some point. One thing that's actually interesting about these two pops right here is that Arrow is actually taller than Deathstroke, which, let me put these in the center there. There we go. Arrow is actually taller than Deathstroke. This is taller than, like, standard pop size. I mean, Deathstroke looks tiny compared to this. But then when we get to the redo of this Arrow, the Green Arrow, he's the same size as Deathstroke. So I'm not sure if this is a factory error or if this was, like, always intended to be. But the Arrow is taller than Deathstroke, which, I don't know. I always found that interesting. Okay, so I actually made a bit of an error last time. I said 4 and 5. I meant 5 and 6. We are going to do 7 and 8 in the exact same place as well, because I bought these on the exact same day. Funny enough, they came from FYE, back when they used to do their buy one, get one 50% off sale. Now they do buy two, get one 75% off. You know, it's a fine deal. So we're going to start off with the First Order Stormtrooper here. He's number 7. I found him first in the store, and I had him in my hands because I love the design for the First Order Stormtrooper. I pretty much love all the trooper designs from pretty much any era of Star Wars. The Stormtroopers, the Clone Troopers, the First Order Stormtroopers, they all look amazing to me. I really love how they keep reinventing the helmets and the armor and how they look, and I just think that they look so amazing, especially in pop form. I wish I could get my hands on just like a regular clone trooper that's in the Phase 2 armor. I know Funko makes that, but I'm not I think it's vaulted now, so I've never seen it in person. Have seen a few on eBay at some points in my life, but I've never been able to pull the trigger on it. But maybe someday I will. But, you know, I'm perfectly fine with just having a First Order Stormtrooper in my collection right now. And then number 8, Stitch, 626. Stitch was one of my favorite characters when I was a kid. It was Thomas and it was Stitch when I was a kid. I loved the TV series Lilo and Stitch. Disney, can you please put out Lilo and Stitch in the US already on DVD and Blu-ray? We want to see this series again. All we have is the movies, and the movies are fine, but I really want to watch the series and not have to bootleg it off of YouTube. But yeah, Stitch 626. This is freaking amazing. This is when he's in his orange jumpsuit and he's escaping the Galactic Federation ship after Jumba has been captured by the Galactic Council, I think it was. I haven't watched the movie in years, but I know a lot about the Lilo and Stitch mythos. This is also where he steals the blood red buttersup. Ha! That was my Stitch impression. I'm kind of working on it, but yeah, I love this pop. The detail on it's amazing. Pretty much all I have to say about it. His ears, though, his ears are huge. It kind of makes him top heavy. If you put him down the wrong way, he'll fall over like that. But yeah, that was Stitch, and that's the First Order Stormtrooper. 2 very cool pops in my collection. 9 and 10 we're doing in the exact same portion because I bought these both off of Amazon on the same day. They just arrived on separate days. So we'll start off with Han Solo. He's number 9. I think I got this a little after The Force Awakens came out, and Han Solo was probably my favorite Star Wars character. I'm not really sure. So minor spoilers for The Force Awakens here. When I was in the theater and I was watching The Force Awakens for the first time, and the scene comes up where Han is walking onto the bridge, he sees Kylo Ren standing there and he yells out, "Ben!" and he walks out on the bridge. I was grabbing the edge of my seat because I knew that this was Han's final scene. I just got that feeling in my gut. I was like, this is it. This is where he goes out. His son stabbed him and he fell off the bridge and my mouth hit the floor. I was like, oh, holy crap. He's gone. They actually did it. They actually axed Han Solo. And now I realize why Harrison Ford was so happy to promote The Force Awakens, because he never had to do another Star Wars movie again. But yeah, I love the look of old Han Solo. I really want the young Han Solo. From back in, I think Funko first released that in 2010 when they first got the rights to do Star Wars pops. However, I think they're going to put out a new Han Solo for the young Han Solo movie that's coming out next year in 2018. So maybe I'll get that one because, I love Han Solo. And rip Phil Lord and Chris Miller directing that movie. But yeah, I think Ron Howard's a good director, so maybe he'll be able to make it better. And then number 10 is Dark Knight Batman. I love the Dark Knight trilogy. They're not my favorite movies of all time, but they are really good. I just actually rewatched them this past week with my brother. He'd never seen them in his life, so I was like, hey bro, you gotta watch one of the best film trilogies of all time. He was like, okay, and he loved them as well. They're not his favorite either. They're not my favorite either. But I really like the bat suit in the movie, so I was like, all right, I got to have this version of Batman. This was my first Batman in my Funko collection, which is actually surprising because Funko has made 500 plus versions of Batman. So yeah, and my box is actually the Dark Knight Trilogy brand. If you can't see that, it's kind of a glare. You can kind of see it there, but it's the Dark Knight Trilogy. It's not the box from the Dark Knight Rises, which came out in 2012. I think this one came out a year after with the Dark Knight Trilogy brand on the box. So it's not the rarer version, but it's still the exact same pop, and I love it either way. Number 11 is Daredevil. Yes, there is no double up here, just Daredevil himself. If you saw my vlog from back in 2016 when me and a group of friends went to go see Batman v Superman in theaters, we stopped at a Toys R Us because we're man-children, and I found Daredevil at a Toys R Us for $9. So I was like, okay, I'll buy him. I've never seen him in person prior to that, and he is pretty awesome. I think Daredevil Season 2 had just come out then. Yeah, it was Daredevil Season 2 had just come out in early 2016, so I was like, all right, I freaking love Daredevil, so okay, let's do it. This is not the Season 2 version, this is the Season 1 version, which a lot of people say that the Season 1 suit is worse compared to the Season 2 suit. I think they both look pretty similar. I'm pretty sure if I had them both side by side, I could notice minimal differences. Just seeing the Daredevil Season 1 suit right here, it doesn't look any different to me from the Season 2 suit. But, you know, if I ever get the Season 2 suit version, I bet I could notice some differences. Number 12 is my second Batman. It's Batman from Batman v Superman. I bought this shortly prior to me leaving for Arizona for spring break of 2016, if you saw that vlog. And mainly I bought it because Batman is clearly the best character from Batman v Superman. He was one of the only things that Batman v Superman actually got right, other than Wonder Woman. And I really like this version of Batman. The one thing that I really kind of dislike about it is the gray is really light. If you see some of the prototype images of this, the gray is a lot darker. Like, look at the box over here. Like, if you look at the box, the gray is a lot darker. Like, that's how it really should look. That's how it looked in the film. And then this is just like a really light gray. It's like, hey, I'm Batman. Look at my grayness. I don't know what that was. I like this version. I just wish that the gray was a little darker and it actually looked how it did in the film. But he's in a very dynamic pose with a batarang in his hand and his other hand out getting ready to like grab something, I guess. So yeah, I had to have my favorite character from Batman v Superman. Number 13 is the steel-clad superhero X-Men character Colossus. I bought him, I think, shortly after I saw Deadpool for the first time, which I saw Deadpool for the first time in March, and then for a second time in April, so I bought him shortly after I'd seen Deadpool, shortly after I got back from my trip from Arizona. So, actually, yeah, I bought him in April. I got my dates mixed up there, but I mainly got him because he was in Deadpool. I loved him in Deadpool, so I had to have the original version of Colossus in my collection because he was just, he was hilarious in, in Deadpool. 4 or 5 moments, that's all it takes to be a hero. And he gives that whole speech, and then friggin' Deadpool shoots Francis in the head, and he throws up afterward. Oh, man, I love Deadpool. That was a slight spoiler for Deadpool if you haven't seen that yet, but Jesus, man. Deadpool was such a great movie, and I loved Colossus. I actually saw him in the airport in Vegas when we were getting ready to leave to head back home. And he was like $15 there, so I was like, should I buy him now or should I wait? And I didn't have my phone with me to check Amazon and see if the prices were still good, so I took a gamble basically, and I got him on Amazon for about the standard pop price of like $9.64. So glad I didn't buy him at the airport, or else I would have overpaid. So number 14, you heard him mentioned earlier with number 13. Deadpool. Obviously, I had to get Deadpool. I mean, I got Colossus. I had to get Deadpool because I freaking love Deadpool. He's probably my 4th favorite Marvel character. Not in my top 3, you know, I mentioned that earlier, Punisher, Wolverine, and Iron Man, but Deadpool was definitely at his firm place at number 4 because he's so hilarious. I love him. I have a friend who actually refuses to watch the Deadpool movie because he's just not a fan of Deadpool, and I'm like, bro, if you watch that movie, you will be a fan of Deadpool. I guarantee it. He refuses to watch it, so I guess he'll just have to miss out, but I love this pop. This is the OG Deadpool from the Marvel Universe line. This isn't from the Deadpool movie line because, I don't know, I didn't like how skinny those pops were, and it wasn't based off the film because, you know, Funko does not have the rights to do Fox Marvel characters in the Funko line. I don't know who stops them from doing that, but they're not allowed to. I just didn't like the Deadpool movie line version, so I had to splurge on the OG. Okay, so numbers 15 and 16, it's another double up, but as you can see, it's in a very special package. This is the extra special Super Duper Civil War 4-pack that came out in 2016 that came with 2 pops and 2 pop keychains. So the pops you can see in front of you are Hawkeye and Civil War Spider-Man. So we're going to take a look at Civil War Spider-Man first. This is the whole reason I bought this pack was because I wanted Spider-Man, and Funko did not put him out separately. You can only get him in this pack. So I said, you know what? I'm going to buy it for Spidey here, and you can see it comes with a little cap shield when he steals Cap shield and lands, and he's like, hey everyone, and everyone was like, holy crap, that's the Amazing Spider-Man. That's the one that we all wanted to see. So yeah, I love Civil War Spider-Man. His detail is amazing. These webs are actually like sculpted into his head, which I like. I think the original version of Spider-Man that came out under the Marvel Universe line only had like painted webs on them, and they weren't very good from what I can tell from. So I love this version of Spider-Man. And then Hawkeye. This is pretty much the only reason I would ever buy a Hawkeye in my life, is if he came in like a 2-pack or something. But, you know, I'm not a Hawkeye hater. I think Hawkeye's pretty good. I like Jeremy Renner in other films, like the Mission Impossible series, but I don't think Hawkeye is that terrible. Yeah, he's no Green Arrow, and yeah, this is pretty much the only reason I'd ever buy a Hawkeye in my life, because he came in this 4-pack. And the keychains that this came with are Iron Man and Captain America. The Iron Man is currently on my keys to my car right now, and they're all the way across the room. I don't really feel like going over and grabbing those. And then the Captain America I actually gave to my mom because she is a big fan of Captain America, and she traded me a Deadpool keychain that she bought for me to get that Captain America. So thanks, Mom. Enjoy your Captain America, and I'll enjoy my Deadpool. Number 17 and 18 are again another double up, but I bought these on the same day. I bought these on my birthday back in 2016. If you didn't know, my birthday is July 4th. I'm a true American at heart. But yeah, I went to FYE after a little birthday lunch with my family, and I bought that Civil War 4-pack that I showed you for numbers 16 and 15. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. I don't think I did, but yeah. Then I went to FYE and I bought the Flash as well. I wanted the Flash for mainly the reason because I really love his TV show. I think it's one of also the greatest superhero TV shows that's on the air right now, because it actually embraces its comic book roots. It's silly, it's fun, and I really like the Flash suit in it. Very, very simplistic pop, but it's actually probably one of my favorites. And then I went over to GameStop and got the new version of Kylo Ren, because if you know, sometimes GameStop gets in pre-release pops early, and Kylo Ren was actually slated to come out later in July of that year, but GameStop already got him in. So yeah, Kylo Ren's one of my new favorite Star Wars characters. I wanted the Walmart exclusive version that had him unmasked, but I could never find it, so I got this new version that has this really awesome snow base where he's on Starkiller base fighting with Rey. He's got his lightsaber back there in a very dynamic pose. I really like this pop. The detail is spectacular. So yeah, great finds all around. That was a great birthday last year when I got these. Number 19 is second version of Iron Man. This is the Mark 45/46. I'm not really sure. Marvel hasn't come out and said whether or not the Hulkbuster armor has a Mark number, so if it does, that's Mark 44, and then this is Mark 46. But I'm gonna say this is Mark 45 actually, because I don't think Hulkbuster actually has an armor Mark number, because that's basically an exoskeleton over top of his normal armor. Plus, the Hulkbuster has a code name Veronica, so I don't know if it has an armor number or not, but I'm going to call this Mark 45. It's the Civil War version of Iron Man, and Iron Man is one of my favorite Marvel characters, as I said earlier. Love the detail on all Iron Man pops. They are amazing. I wish I was a Funko Pop collector back when Iron Man 3 came out, because those Iron Man pops also look amazing. But yeah, I got this at Walmart for about $9 or so, and he's actually one of the pops that I have that doesn't really stand too well. I mean, his foot right here is a little misshapen. He doesn't stand perfectly straight. I mean, he stands fine, but it's kind of at an angle. My Colossus that I had on camera earlier, he's actually one of my pups that can't really stand that well. You kind of have to balance him the right way because one of his feet are misshapen. It's like standing up instead of standing down. I forgot to mention that with him, but yeah, Iron Man's one of those pops that has a misshapen foot, but it's okay because he stands better than Colossus, and it's not like either one of them just fall over whenever you put them on a table or a desk. Number 20 is the Green Arrow, which is the Season 4 redesign of Arrow, like I mentioned back whenever I was talking about the Arrow. So here is the Green Arrow. I wouldn't say he has a lot more detail than the original Arrow. I mean, they're pretty much the same, but he has a lot of armor plates because that's what the suit looks like in the show and all that. a little vent up here for the hood so you can get airflow in there. There's this quiver on the back with his arrows and all that. I really like this pop. Very simplistic, but still very nice. I got him at GameStop back in like the second week of July, which is about a week or so prior to him actually coming out in regular stores, because like I said, GameStop sometimes he gets pops in early. Not sure why, but I was happy to have him earlier than everyone else. Number 21 is probably going to be one of my rarest pops at some point in my life whenever this thing goes up in value, but it is the 75th anniversary sepia-toned Captain America. It was an Amazon exclusive back in 2016. It was supposed to release on July 4th, aka my birthday, so I put in a pre-order for it. The one time I've ever pre-ordered a pop in my life, and I'm glad that I did, because this thing was going for like $30 after it first came out, and I got it for standard price at about $14. And I waited for at least a month or so to finally get this in the mail. It came in pretty okay shape. It's got some paint scuffs and stuff on the back of it, but it's not really noticeable since I put it on the front. The box, however, is in great shape, and this thing is only going to accumulate in value as the years go on, and it's very, very nice. I really like it. Number 22, it was kind of my very first impulse buy, I guess you could say. This is a character I really didn't want that much. It's Iron Spider, and I found him in a Walgreens on my way to my orientation for my very first job, actually, back in 2016. And he was kind of an impulse buy, because I was like, oh, hey, Iron Spider. I know he's kind of rare. I've never seen him in my life, so why not go ahead and pick him up now, even though his box is in kind of bad shape. I mean, it's got some dents in it, like down there, you can see, and the bottom kind of falls out pretty easily, but at the same time, though, it's not like torn to bits or anything, so it's not in that bad of shape, but the pop itself is perfectly fine. I mean, I really like how he's got the 3 legs on the back and how they're kind of movable. They're not really supposed to move, but they're kind of movable. His head actually kind of leans to the right, at least to me. He leans to the left if you're looking from the back of him, but if you're looking from the front like I am, it leans to the right a little bit. It should really be more straight like that, but on popprice.com, which is where you can look to see the value of some of your Funko Pops, this one is actually worth about like $22. So I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm like, I didn't think Iron Spider would be worth that much. Number 23 is the most famous Wookiee this side of the planet Earth, Chewbacca. I got him on my 3rd trip to Gatlinburg, which was the most recent one, now that I think about it. I'm going again this year, but it's the most recent trip that I've been on to Gatlinburg, and I got him mainly because I got Han Solo, and I needed Chewbacca next to him. I didn't really want Chewbacca, but now that I have him, I'm kind of shocked that I didn't want him that much, because this version is amazing. This is the Force Awakens version of a Chewbacca, and the hair, I cannot get over how fabulous the hair detailing is on this. It feels amazing. I'm actually surprised I didn't really want this one, because this pop is pretty amazing, and very happy that I found him in that toy store in Gatlinburg, and hopefully I can find a 3rd pop this year to complete my Gatlinburg pop trilogy, I guess you could say. Number 24 is the Imperial Death Trooper. I got this around the time that the first Rogue One, I think, teaser trailer came out, and Walmart only got in one of the Imperial Death Trooper at that time. So I was like, oh, hey, maybe I'll go back and buy it. Because I was kind of confused, because they only had one of the Rogue One pops there, so I was like, oh, hey, maybe they just mistakenly put this one out on the floor early. So I went ahead and bought it. It was like $9, because Walmart sells pops for $1 cheaper than everywhere else. And I was like, oh, hey, I got the Imperial Death Trooper before anyone else did. That's cool. And then, like, I went back a week later, and they had a whole setup for Rogue One pops. And they had, like, 20 Imperial Death Troopers. I was like, oh, well, that kind of sucked. But I'm still happy to have it, because I said earlier, I love all of the clone/stormtrooper armored designs, and this one is no different. It is amazing. It's very sleek. And I just love how it looks. So that is the Imperial Death Trooper from Rogue One. Numbers 25 and 26 I'm doubling up on again, because I got them on the same day. I got them both at FYE for another sale. You got one and then another one for 50% off. I got the movie version of Doctor Strange, and then I got our president, Mr. Donald J. Trump. So we're going to take a look at Doctor Strange first, as to not trigger any liberals who are watching this. This Doctor Strange is epic. I love this version more than the comic version. The comic version is simplistic and it looks fine, but this version has so much detail in that cape and in his cloak with the Eye of Agamotto right there, and it's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. It is awesome. And I pretty much really loved the Doctor Strange solo film. I think it's one of my favorite Marvel movies, actually, because it was able to establish this character so well into the universe and not feel like a traditional origin story. So now we move on to one of the most detailed pops to one of the most simplistic pops I have, which is just Donald Trump. So, funny story, actually. I bought these on the day before, or actually, I bought these on Election Day. So I bought these a day before Donald Trump was announced to be our next president. So if you're a liberal and you're watching this and you hate Donald Trump, I guess you can blame me for him getting elected, because maybe it was me buying this pop that got him the presidency, but I'm not sure. I myself am not a liberal. I am a conservative, a very outspoken one, but I am a critic of some of what Donald Trump does, but I think he was the better choice over the scumbag email deleting Hillary Clinton, but I'm not going to get political in this video. But if you see there, it's got a little button right there. I really like that detail. Okay, you can kind of see it in that shot. It says Vote Trump 2016. I like how they threw that in there as a little homage to Trump running for president. And now this pop is worth like $20, and it'll only accumulate in value since Donald Trump is now our president of the United States of America. So yeah, I was very happy with that purchase. Number 27 is the Boba Fett but prototype version. I was very shocked to actually find this in a store. I'm not, as you can see on the sticker there, it's a Walgreens exclusive, so I'm not sure if Funko did like another run on this and put it out again, or if Walgreens just had like some more stock of it just sitting around. But like, I'm very happy to have this. It's a very simplistic pop, but it's also pretty awesome at the same time. I love the Mandalorian armor as well as the clone armor and such, and having it in white is just pretty freaking awesome. This was pretty much another impulse buy, because I was like, oh look, it's a Walgreens exclusive, haven't seen this in a while. I think it's going to be rare one day. It's not really too rare right now because a lot of Walgreens got this pop in again, but you know, it'll probably accumulate in value again over time. So it was another impulse buy, but you know, I kind of impulse buy more than a young man should. Number 28 is the first appearance of one of my favorite Marvel characters, the Punisher. I'm surprised it took me over 27 pops to actually get a Punisher. The OG Punisher was a Walgreens exclusive, and I could never find it anywhere for a decent price, but the Thunderbolts Punisher, which is the one you're seeing in front of you right now, is also a Walgreens exclusive, and I guess Funko did another run on these because I found him in a store as well. I was actually surprised. This is mainly just a repaint of the OG Punisher. Pretty much the only changes is the fact that the skull is now painted red, where on the OG one it would be painted white. Same with the belt. The belt would be white. The gloves would be white as well. I think the boots were also white. And this is basically just a repaint, but you know what? I love it all the same. It's very simplistic, but I like it. I also like the little detail right there where he has a knife in his boot, which that's such a Punisher thing. He basically has weapons spread all around his body, so I really like how they threw in the little knife there on his boot. Number 29 is director Orson Krennic. I bought him in December of 2016. After I'd seen Rogue One, I think director Orson Krennic is probably one of my favorite Imperial characters from Rogue One. He's just, I don't know what it was about him. He didn't have much to him, but I really liked his look. I love his actor, Ben Mendelsohn. I really think he was one of the best Imperial characters in that film, and I wish he hadn't gotten blown away by the Death Star at the end, which was sad to see him go. I really would have liked to have seen him come back in other Star Wars media. I really like his hair sculpt. I think that's my favorite thing about this pop is the hair sculpt. You get this little gray temple over here on his head. It's like a very nougat color around on the top there, and there's another temple on the side, and plus I got him for cheap at GameStop. He was like on sale for like $6. So I was like, why not go ahead and just buy him? Numbers 30 and 31, it's another double up, but it's my first two-pack. I got this for Christmas of 2016, if you saw that video, Christmas Presents 2016, in case you're wondering, and it's Clark Griswold and Cousin Eddie from one of the best Christmas movies ever made, Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's. It's amazing. I love everything about that movie, and love these pops as well. Clark Griswold in his Santa hat and his Santa jacket with his little moose mug full of eggnog. It is amazing. I love this thing. It's very simplistic. It's actually very top heavy. His head is like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a pound, but it's pretty close to it. I mean, it's pretty hefty. And then you got Cousin Eddie over here with his big old hat. This is from the scene in the film when he's outside and he's pumping raw sewage out of his motorhome. He's got the cigar, he's got the beer can, and then he's in his robe with his boots. One of the neighbors walks out and he's like, "Merry Christmas! It was full!" I'm gonna have to bleep that out, but he says that, and it's, oh man, it's just, this movie is amazing. As you can see over here, this was an FYE exclusive. However, these pops are not FYE exclusives. Pretty much just the two-pack itself is an FYE exclusive because both of these pops were put out separately in separate boxes. However, they're not very easy to find. So I really wanted the two-pack. Very happy to have this. Number 32 is Armored Batman from Batman v Superman. If you watched the Christmas presents video from last year as well, you would have saw that I got this for Christmas. Mom came through for me, got this off Amazon. Again, this actually wasn't the Armored Batman that I wanted. I actually wanted the one from The Dark Knight Returns, which you may or may not see later on in this video, who knows? But she came through for me. She got me the one from the Legion of Collectors box, which this is an exclusive to, and this one is pretty much going up in price right now. So I'm very happy to have this. It's extremely detailed. It looks amazing. The helmet is awesome as well. It's actually kind of hollow. If I put my fingers right here and I squeeze in, I can actually feel that the head is actually hollow, which is interesting to say the least. I'm not sure if this is like new for Funko products, because this is like one of the only pops that I can do that with, but I'm not complaining about it. I love this pop. I love everything about it. Number 33 is a character that I was surprised I didn't have in my collection up until the end of 2016. It's the badass Lord of the Sith himself, Darth Vader. This is the Rogue One redesigned version with the smaller helmet that isn't so big and looking so childish, and I like this version a lot better than the OG Vader. This version it just looks like he could kill you with his mind, because he can. And I love Darth Vader with all of my heart, almost as much as I love the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. I love Darth Vader pretty much just as much. Excuse me, Director Krennic. Are you saying the Death Star will not be completed on schedule? That was my best Darth Vader impression. It wasn't very good, but I don't care. I'm very happy that I have, as I said prior, the badass Lord of the Sith, Vader himself, in my collection. Number 34 is the Chrome Imperial Death Trooper, which is a Walmart exclusive, or it was before it went off the shelves. This thing is absolutely beautiful. It is chrome all the way around. It is spectacular. It's also extremely reflective. I'm having to duck just to have it not show my face on camera, but it's very reflective. It's beautiful. I was surprised that I actually find it on store shelves, because I had heard there was going to be a Walmart exclusive of the Imperial Death Trooper. I didn't know it was going to be chrome, and I was very happy to find it because Walmart sucks with stocking exclusives. It was another impulse buy, and I'm super happy that I bought it. Number 35 is another Christmas present, which came in late from Amazon because this X-Men line actually was not supposed to release until January of 2017, but it shipped on like January 5th or something, then came in 2 days later because Prime shipping is amazing. But it's Logan. You guys saw this in my Logan movie review if y'all watched that. But it's pretty much the comic book version of Wolverine, where he's in his leather jacket with his X belt and all that. It's pretty much Funko's workaround to getting a film version of Wolverine, because I would say this looks like him from X1, X2 more than likely, with that jacket and everything. They put it under the classic comic X-Men line, as you can see up there, and just called him Logan, not Wolverine. But yeah, I pretty much love this pup. The one thing that gets me down about it is he doesn't stand all that well. I mean, watch this. If he's bobbling, well, he stood up that time, but if he's bobbling a lot, he falls over, and it's because his feet are really too small to support his giant head. I like what Funko was trying to do with its dynamic pose, but like, you really should have tested that more, Funko, because that does not stand well at all. Number 36 is the fourth version of Batman in my collection. This is the 2017 body redesign of Batman. I really like how it looks. This was basically just another, like, alright, I'll buy it. It was an impulse buy. I had some cash to spend, so I was like, okay, this is a new body, so why not? I'm never going to get the original version anyway, so why not just get, like, a regular Batman? Because as stated previously, Funko makes, like, 50 to 100 versions of Batman, like, every year. There's probably 500 plus of him out there. So I was like, why not? It's nice. I like Batman. So, and it was $9 at Walmart, and I hadn't seen it anywhere prior. So it's simplistic, but I think that adds to the charm of it. Number 38 is the Walmart exclusive version of Doctor Strange. I was actually surprised to see this. I didn't even know this existed, to be honest, being the Funko god that I am. I had no idea this existed, so I was surprised to find this on the shelf. And this was basically another impulse buy. Had a friend come over a few weeks ago, and he was like, dude, did you seriously buy two versions of Doctor Strange, one with cape and one without cape? I was like, yeah. He's like, why? I was like, because I'm insane. And I am. But, you know, this is him without his cape, and he's also doing different finger motions. But yeah, this is like when he's training to use his sorcerer powers. So it's not technically inaccurate because he did steal the Eye of Agamotto to train with the time travel element of it in one scene. So maybe this is from that scene, but if it was me, I would have taken the Eye of Agamotto off of this just to make it a little more exclusive. But you know what? It's fine. It's another version of Doctor Strange, and I'm totally cool with it. Okay, I think I said 38 in the last segment, guys. Sorry, that's number 37, the Doctor Strange with no cape. This is number 38, the Punisher from the Daredevil Netflix series. Very, very happy that Funko finally put out a Punisher from Daredevil Netflix series, because this is my favorite version of the Punisher that's ever been put onto any sort of watchable media, which I've only seen this version of the Punisher and the 2004 version of the Punisher with Thomas Jane and John Travolta, which wasn't too bad, but this Punisher knocks that out of the park. I love how on the back here his hair is cut really short, and then his hair on top is really tall like it is in the series. It is amazing. Love his giant gun. I wish I could have found the Chase version where he's holding Daredevil's helmet and he has a pistol raised up in his hand, but I've never seen a Chase in my life, so I guess I'm happy just to have the regular version. I swear we're almost finished here, guys. Just a little over 20 more pops to go, but number 39 is Crossbones Battle Damage. Another impulse buy. It was at Target. Someone actually tweeted me that there was a sale going on at Target for Funko Pops. They were like $4.50 each now, which Target usually sells them for about $8 to $9, so that was a pretty good deal. So I went, and I was like, hey, there's Crossbones Battle Damage. He's the only one I really want that's here, so why not? He's an exclusive. He might become rare one day, so... And I gotta say, his detail is very impressive. I love his gauntlets on his hands and how detailed they are. The pants even are super detailed. However, the only part of this that's really exclusive is the fact that there's just a chunk taken out of his mask. His eyelid is like sagging a bit, but this is kind of a cheap exclusive on Funko's part because the regular version has that chunk of the mask in there. The eyelid isn't like sagging over his eye, so for completionists, Funko kind of screwed him over with this exclusive. It's kind of not really that necessary. However, if I was going to choose between this and the regular version, I'd definitely choose this version because it's the exclusive version. Number 40 is the GameStop exclusive version of Rocket Raccoon. And guys, if my voice starts trailing off a little bit here, I'm getting really tired. I've been filming this all during one day. It's been over 2 hours now since I started, so we're just going to try to blast off through these next few pops. This is Rocket. I got him because I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I wasn't a Funko collector whenever the first Guardians came out. By the time I was, this rocket was vaulted and, or no, not this rocket, the rocket from Guardians 1 was vaulted and put away, so I was unable to get it. So now I have the GameStop exclusive version. That's just him standing. I kind of wish I got the regular version because that's him like blasting off. But oh well, I guess I'm happy to just have one version of Rocket in my collection. Number 41 is Blade. This is a PX Previews exclusive pop, which basically means comic shops will get these pops, little smaller stores. FYE gets a lot of PX exclusives, and they usually sell out pretty quick, so I was actually surprised to see Blade in FYE. He was an impulse buy, pretty much. I was like, oh, hey, it's a PX exclusive. Never seen it before in my life. Why not go ahead and pick it up? And I like Blade from, what was it, like 1998 when that film came out? I like it. It's pretty much just 90s cheese the whole time, but it's pretty fun, and yeah, this pop is pretty cool. I like the sunglasses on him, and I think there's pop eyes underneath there. Probably not, because the sunglasses are really close to his face, so there probably aren't any eyes. Nah, I'm just looking at it now. There's holes where the eyes should be, if you can see there, but there aren't any eyes underneath it. But, you know, sunglasses aren't meant to come off, so I guess you'll never see that. Number 42 is the regular Cars 3 version of Lightning McQueen. Here's where we get into the Cars line of pops. I love the Cars franchise. You guys already know this. I'm a big proprietor of saying Cars is one of Pixar's best franchises. And I picked this up prior to me actually seeing Cars 3, but I was super hyped for Cars 3, so I went ahead and got the Lightning from the Cars 3 line. It's not that much different from the Lightning from the original Cars line, so I don't really feel like I needed to pick that up. But I actually got this at a Meijer, and that will become relevant later on in actually the next pop that we're going to look at. But yeah, it's detailed very nice. I really like how big and stocky it is, and I think this is one of the best looking Cars pops because Mater and Doc Hudson, they just didn't translate very well into pop form. They just look squished, and they just don't look right at all. They look kind of ugly to me. However, I think Lightning and Ramon translated pretty well into pop form. And also Cruz Ramirez from Cars 3 also translated pretty well. Number 43 is the gray version of Lightning McQueen, which is a Meijer exclusive. That's why that whole Meijer thing becomes relevant here. The reason I got this was because, well, it was a Meijer exclusive, and not everybody has a Meijer in their area, and I said, you know what? This might become rare one day. According to PopPriceGuide.com, this is worth about $19, and it'll only go up in value because people are trying to sell this for like $30 on eBay. So, yeah. This is from the scene in the film after Lightning has his crash, and he goes and gets repaired and stays out of the scene for about 4 months or so. He hangs out in Doc's old shed in this primer. This is primer. That's why it's all gray and such. And I really like it. It's a repaint, and it's very simplistic, but you know what? It's a Meijer exclusive. Not everybody has a Meijer near them, so I'm very happy to gloat that I have it. Number 44 is Tony Stark from Spider-Man Homecoming. You guys already know Iron Man is one of my favorite heroes, and I love Tony Stark. You know, I kind of base my online persona off of Tony Stark being so snarky and arrogant and all that. You know, if that's how I come off to you, then that's not how I really am, but I really like how he's got his little cat on his shirt, like he is in the film from Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming, pretty good movie, actually. You guys should check that out. But yeah, Tony Stark is one of those pops that kind of stands alright on his own, but this foot right here is kind of misshapen, and his feet in general are not large enough to support his giant head. I kind of had to squeeze him down onto my desk to have him not wobble, have him fall over. And actually, my Tony Stark, his glasses are broken. You can see right there. I don't think Funko made this hole big enough. There we go. Now it's in focus. So you can see that hole right there where these glasses are supposed to go. This hole is not big enough to put this little plastic piece into his head, so I can't even fit it back in there and glue it in there, so I guess it'll just have to stay like that. But you know, it doesn't bug me that much. It's not really noticeable, especially if you just have him like this. You know, you can't really see it. I just kind of wish that Funko quality control was just a little better, and they would have caught that prior to them shipping it out to GameStop. Number 45 is possibly my rarest pop in this collection. Nah, actually it's not the rarest, but it's one of the rarest, and it's pretty much one of my Funko holy grails. It is Grand Admiral Thrawn, as you can see here in front of you. It is the 2017 Galactic Convention exclusive Thrawn, which basically means Thrawn is a Star Wars Celebration exclusive, and he was supposed to be shared with Toys R Us stores across the nation, but neither one of my Toys R Us stores around here got any shipments of Thrawn in, which kind of made me sad because I actually went hunting for Thrawn the day that Star Wars Celebration actually started, and I didn't find him. But luckily for me, there was about 50 or so of these guys that popped up on eBay, and I was able to win mine for just a hint over $20. So I wouldn't say I overpaid that much because I really wanted Thrawn, because Thrawn's one of my new favorite Star Wars characters that was just brought back into canon through Star Wars Rebels. That's the line he was released under. And yeah, I do not regret this purchase at all. You saw my unboxing video on Thrawn if you watched that. Number 46 is the Vulture, the glow-in-the-dark GameStop exclusive version. This Vulture is amazing. I found this at GameStop a few months ago before Spider-Man Homecoming came out, and I'd seen the regular version of the Vulture, and it wasn't doing much for me. I was like, alright, that looks cool. The wings are pretty awesome. And then I found the glow-in-the-dark version that I didn't know existed, so I was like, oh, hey, this version might become actually rare one day. So I picked it up, and this looks amazing when it glows in the dark. Unfortunately, I can't show it on camera because my camera sucks with picking up things with really low light. So you just have to take my word for it, but pretty much everywhere that is like translucent green on this model, or on this pop, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said model. This is a toy. My apologies. But everything is like translucent green, including his eyes, his little mouthpiece here, his hand gauntlets, his feet and everything. Everything that's translucent green glows, and it looks pretty amazing. Number 47 is Wonder Woman from the film Wonder Woman. I think that this film put DC back on track the way that it should be. This pop just looks absolutely amazing. It looks better than the Batman v Superman version because the colors aren't muted. It's actually like blue and red, and it looks amazing. So yeah, I was a really big fan of the Wonder Woman film, and I am a really big fan of this version of Wonder Woman's pop. Number 49 is the PX exclusive version of Deathstroke, but this is the metallic version. The regular version of this pop is also a PX exclusive. This was the last metallic Deathstroke that my FYE had, and you bet your balls I picked this up because this looks amazing. I think that the Arrow TV series version of Deathstroke looks better than this version, but that's because I like that character more than the comic version of Deathstroke. But this is beautiful. I'm super happy that I picked this up. I mean, this paint, I just dropped him. I'm sorry, I'm doing this with one hand, but this Deathstroke is magnificent. Number 49 is Caecilius, the villain from Doctor Strange. This was another impulse buy. Found him at GameStop on sale for $5, and I was actually surprised that they still had some Caeciliuses left over from the Doctor Strange film. I was like, alright. I think his eye detail is spectacular. I love how it sparkles and all that good stuff. I think it looks amazing. And the rest of him looks pretty good too. His hair is probably one of my other favorite parts about this pop. And yeah, he was a impulse buy, and I'm super happy I got him because, well, you know, if you have Doctor Strange, you gotta have his villain. I mean, come on. We're in the home stretch, guys. This one's number 50. We only have about 11 or so pops to go after this, so we're in the home stretch. Let's go ahead and get to it. Number 50 is the Rusty's Racing Center Lightning McQueen. This is another Cars 3 repaint of Lightning, but this one is a Target exclusive. See right there. And this is from the scenes in the film when Lightning goes to the brand new Rusty's Racing Center after Rusty and Dusty have sold Rusty's to Sterling, and Sterling gives Lightning this extra special Rusty's Racing Center suit that he wears over top of his regular paint. And this thing is just absolutely beautiful. I love how reflective and metallic it is. There's Rusty's on his hood there. It just looks absolutely amazing. I freaking love this. Totally worth the $15 I paid for it at Target, because for some reason this was $15 at Target, and I think it's because Target is pretty expensive with its exclusive stuff. Numbers 51 and 52 is another double up, but that's because this is a two-pack. Spider-Man and Peter Parker from Spider-Man Homecoming. This is basically just a repackage of two pops that you could buy separately from other places and pay a couple dollars more if you wanted to buy them separately, or you can buy them in this convenient little two-pack, which is exclusive to Best Buy, as you can see right there on the sticker right there. So we'll take a look. Normal version of Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming. Pretty much the same sculpt for his head as the Civil War Spider-Man, but a different body. He's not crouching this time. He's got both his hands out in the web motion and getting ready to take down some bad guys. I really like the Spider-Man pop. Pretty nice indeed. And then, whoop, he fell over. Sorry, Spider-Man. There you go. Stand there, buddy. And then here is Peter Parker. I actually wasn't planning to get Peter Parker, but I was in Best Buy one day and I found this pack, and I was like, oh, hey, if I was already going to buy Peter Parker just by himself, he would have been like $10 or so, and this pack was $19, so I'm saving a few bucks if I wanted to buy these both separately and just get them both in this convenient two-pack right here. So, got his backpack on and all that. It's a very nice and simplistic pop, but it represents the character Peter Parker pretty well. He's another pop whose head is too big for his body and his feet are too small to hold him up, so I kind of have to prop him up against the box so he doesn't fall over and die. Number 53 is the classic Iron Man. This is the first ever Iron Man pop that Funko ever made. I believe so. I think this came out in like 2011, 2012 or something. It was either this one or the Iron Man that came out under the Avengers lineup. And in case you're wondering, yes, Funko was around in 2012 and they did make pops for the Avengers line. However, they're super hard to find nowadays because not a lot of people bought them, because Funko didn't really start getting into the game until 2013 when people were like, hey, this stuff is pretty cool. And, you know, I was 2 years late because I only got into it in 2015, but that's okay. But this is the classic Iron Man. It's very simplistic, but you know what? I love Iron Man. Gotta have his classic version in my collection, and I think it's kind of funny how he kind of looks like a classic 1970s spaceman. This is basically what people in like the 1970s thought that people in the future would look like if they went into space. And you know, it's simplistic, but I got it on Amazon for a pretty good deal, and I love Iron Man, so had to add him to my collection. Number 54 is the Armored Batman that I actually did want for Christmas 2016. It's Armored Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. Like I said earlier, he makes an appearance in this collection video. So, yeah, here he is. Found him at FYE. I was actually surprised because I'd never seen him in person. So I was like, oh, hey, I'll pick him up. He looks pretty awesome. This gun is pretty freaking huge and all that good stuff. Got his bat logo on the belt there. I'm running out of things to say about these pops because I've already said that, you know, they're all simplistic. They're all pretty awesome. This one actually has a mouth, which is pretty awesome. It's actually sculpted into the pop, which I would have thought it would just been a sticker or something there. But it's cool that Funko went the extra effort to actually put sculpted-in mouth onto this Armored Batman. Numbers 55 and 56 are Cal Naughton Jr. and Jean Girard, both from Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, one of my absolute favorite comedy films of all time. I found these both at FYE. They're both on clearance, and I got them both for about $4 each. So I was like, holy crap, man. I had no idea Funko made these into pops. But they're very simplistic, but the hair on Cal here is what really makes this pop great. And also the little age details on his forehead, his mustache. It's all pretty freaking awesome. And then Jean Girard, he's pretty plain, pretty simplistic. I like how he's got his name on his jumpsuit and his racing suit there, but his hair is also pretty awesome as well. Got a lot of curls in there and such. They're both pretty simplistic pops, but their hair is pretty much what makes it for me. And also they're both great characters. My name is Jean Girard. I believe what you are hearing is my accent. I am French. Number 57 is the final Lightning McQueen I have in my Funko collection right now currently. It is Fabulous Lightning McQueen. This is a huge major spoiler for the end of Cars 3, but you know what? I've been spoiling a lot of movies throughout this collection, and if you haven't seen Cars 3 by now, you're not a true Cars fan. But anyway, this paint job was seen at the end of the film where Lightning is giving an homage to his mentor, Doc Hudson, who was the Fabulous Hudson Hornet, but Lightning is now the Fabulous Lightning McQueen. Turn him on the back here. We've got 4 Doc Hudson on the back with a little Hornet sticker because Doc Hudson is a Hudson Hornet. There's the top, and this piece is just absolutely beautiful. My bro on YouTube, Wooden Railway Only, who's also my son, he snapped me a photo of this when he was able to find it in his local Toys R Us, and he was like, bro, I got it, finally, because we're both major Cars fans. I was super jealous, I'm going to be honest. I got real jealous of him because neither one of my Toys R Us has got any of these in, so I had to buy mine off eBay. I overpaid just a little bit, but you know what, it's worth it because my Toys R Us's pretty much suck around here, but very happy to finally have it. Number 58 is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ricky Bobby. I had to get him because, you know what, I had John, I had Cal, FYI didn't have Ricky, so I found him on eBay, picked him up immediately, and now he's here, and man, just awesome. His hair is actually the least detailed out of all the other ones in this collection, but this is actually the first Funko collection I've ever completed, the Talladega Nights collection, but totally fine with that because I love Talladega Nights and I love Ricky Bobby. And now he and Cal can shake and bake together. Or no, actually, it's no longer shake and bake. It's Magic Man and El Diablo. Numbers 59 and 60 are yet another double up, but it's because it's another 2-pack based on Spider-Man Homecoming. It's Iron Man, Mark 46, and Spider-Man, or Mark 47, as we've established earlier. But let's go ahead and take a look at it here. This Iron Man is beautiful. It's another repaint, but you know what? It's pretty freaking awesome. The gray on it, I'm not really sure what it is, but the gray just makes it look that much better. And yeah, I had to have it because, you know, it's Iron Man. That's my 4th version of Iron Man in my collection. And I never thought I would say that I have 4 versions of Spider-Man in my Pop collection, but now I do, I guess. I got, you know, the Civil War Spider-Man, the Iron Spider, the regular Spider-Man from Homecoming, and now Crouching Spider-Man from Homecoming. So, yeah, that's him. He's got little one eye kind of squinted there like he's doing like, huh? Like he's confused or something, or he's focusing in on something. This is a Target exclusive, by the way. This is actually one of the rarest packs I have in my collection. It's worth the most, according to PopPriceGuide.com. It's worth about $35. But the box, man, the box. I don't know what happened to this box in shipping, but it's beaten to hell. I mean, you can see the dent up there. There is a huge dent that's pretty much all throughout the back here. I mean, it's beaten to crap, but I had to buy it because, well, this is the first time I'd ever seen this in person. I knew I'd never see it again if I just left it there, so I grabbed it and I left, and I didn't think twice about it. Alright, folks, we've reached the end. Numbers 61 and 62 I'm doubling up on. I bought both of these at GameStop, so it makes sense. But we're finally here. We're at the end. We'll start off here with 61, Reverse Flash. Got him at GameStop because I had the regular version of Flash for years, or over a year now. And I wanted Reverse Flash because he's his villain. Gotta have Flash as villain. Plus, he uses the exact same sculpt as the TV series Flash, and this is the TV series version of Reverse Flash, and I love his look. The yellow just looks really nice in contrast with Flash's red. I was like, alright, I'll grab him. He was kind of like an impulse buy, but I wanted him as well. And then over here, the 2017 Summer Convention exclusive version of Tony Stark from Spider-Man Homecoming. This was a Comic-Con exclusive pop, which was shared with GameStop, and I was very lucky to find that one of my local GameStops had about 4 of them. I bought one, and basically the thing that's different about this Tony Stark pop is the fact that he's wearing a very nice suit. He's also holding one of his Iron Man helmets in his hand. I love this pop. I think it's better than the regular version of Tony Stark, and I think that it's one of the best pops to come out of the Homecoming line. And also, this one's not broken. Hey, that's pretty awesome. Even though the helmet is horrendously out of scale with the actual pop itself, but you know, I don't really care that much. But yeah, now we've finally made it to the end of my complete Funko Pop collection video. I've had a glass of water over here hidden off camera for like pretty much the entirety of this collection video, and I have gone through maybe about 3 glasses of water trying to film this. It's been over 2 hours, so let's go ahead and I'll show you the entire collection, all in box, because as you've seen throughout this video, I do keep the boxes for every single pop that I buy. So let's go ahead and show you that. So everywhere in my room that used to have Funko Pops displayed on it is now very naked and very bare. It looks pretty naked and pretty bare. I'm not too big of a fan of not having my Pops out on display, but let me go ahead and show you the collection in its entirety. There it is. You can't even get the whole thing in one shot. This is all of it. This is pretty much every Funko Pop that I own. This is all of it, guys. After I finish this, I'm probably just going to lay in my bed for another like 2 hours and not put these away, because this has taken a lot out of me to actually do this video, but I'm happy to chronologue all the Funko Pops that I own. Oh, this is over 2 years of me collecting, so I've accumulated over 60 of these guys, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. So with that out of the way, I want to say thanks again for watching, and as always, good night, everybody.